All right, we're live. So welcome back to Dapp University. So today we got a lot to talk about. Lots happened over the weekend since our stream that we did on Friday. And today, the most exciting thing to talk about, is what's happening to the Ether price. We saw a lot of big moves happening over the weekend. Ether's hit a new all-time high, significantly higher than where it was, just a few weeks ago. And, we're continuing on this path towards 10K per Ether. So I want to talk about that in this video, talk about all the other updates that you need to watch out for this week, because this is a major week for the Ethereum community. So before we get into that, if you're new around here, hey, I'm Gregory, and on this channel, I turn you into a blockchain master. So if that's something that you're interested in, then smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to learn how to become a blockchain master step-by-step, start to finish, then head on over to dappuniversity.com/bootcamp to get started today. So last but not least, nothing I'm saying in this video is financial advice. This is for educational purposes only. I'm not telling you to buy or sell any cryptocurrency based on this information. So got a bunch of new people jumping in the chat here. We see Culture has Brad, Kevin, Space Outman, Luis, Danny, Michael, Christian, Chris, Josh, Adam, welcome. So let's go ahead and jump into this big update from everything that's happened over the weekend. So we'll start off with the cryptocurrency prices. I'm sure that's one of the first things on top of everybody's mind, particularly if you are in the Ethereum lane, which I would think a lot of people watching this video who've been watching these streams for a while are at this point. I know I talk about it so much. Sometimes people ask me why I talk about ETH so much. A lot of new faces around here. Of course, if you've been with me for a long time, you know that I am a blockchain developer. I work primarily with Ethereum pretty much every single day. I've been watching this space like a hawk for a long time. I also invested in it. It's my largest personal holding. I talk about a ton on this channel because I'm a big believer in it. So anyways, let's go ahead and check on the ETH price. So currently we are sitting at $3,150, which is just shy of our all-time high that we set a few hours ago of, let's see here, $3,199. So, $3,200. So our stream last week, I've been talking about ETH, kind of where it was going and the price. Say maybe like right in here, we kind of saw this move. We started to see some bullishness really come into the asset itself. And I was saying that, I would not be surprised if we, took off to $3,000 pretty fast. And it looks like that's true. Okay, so we've broken $3,000. We're firmly above $3,000. I wasn't quite sure what would happen once we hit that $3,000 mark, if it would be, if there'd be some resistance there, if we'd try it. But the fact that we just blasted through the $3,000 resistance level is huge. Okay, it's huge, huge, huge. Means very bullish sentiment for the ETH space. And the funny thing is, if you watch this channel the past few months, the sentiment has changed so much for the Ethereum asset itself. Part of it's because we've seen so many marketing narratives around ETH killers, basically trying to tear ETH down, saying it's too slow, it's too expensive, it's never going to work, while downplaying all the innovation that's happening on top of the Ethereum network, all the network effects, all the improvements that are coming into the Ethereum protocol this year. Okay, it's all contrast bias. It's like, how do you make yourself look good? You make somebody else look bad. So you point out all the things that they do wrong, not about what you do right, and then the other people think it makes it easier for you to pitch your own thing. So that's been happening for a long time. But of course, I try to tell you about the fundamentals, what's actually happening in this space, so that you're not as hoodwinked by these types of things as other people are. Okay. So, we're starting to see the market really catch up to what's actually the truth of the matter, I would say. And this week in particular is going to be huge. We're going to talk about why here in a minute, but I think that's what we're seeing. We're seeing the bullish sentiment catch up to the actual fundamentals that's happening in the Ethereum space right now. Yeah, and I expect this to continue, especially with all the major milestones that are going to happen on the platform this year. So this, to me, my opinion, I think this does firmly secure us on the path to 10K. Of course, not financial advice. There's always probability that's not true. But to me, 10K is a 3x from here, roughly. I think with everything that's happening this year, I think that we can hit, 10K. So, there are other things that could stop that. Of course, there's some showstoppers in the global scene, stock market crashes, crypto's probably going down with it. Lots of other things like that too. But to me, this is looking way, way, way more likely, especially the fact that we just blasted through that 3K level. So we can check on other cryptocurrencies here. Let's check on the Bitcoin price. So the cool thing about this is, ETH has been really ripping over the weekend, independent of what's been going on with Bitcoin. Okay, so this, it's made some Bitcoin people a little bit salty if you go follow them on Twitter. But basically, sorry, I haven't turned these ads off. I think I had to turn my ad blocker off on CoinGecko for some reason. Now I get like blasted with ads. But anyways, the Bitcoin price, everything's been a little bit boring in Bitcoin world, while ETH has kind of been stealing the spotlight and really carrying the market. So we can check the ETH to BTC ratio to see what's going on there. So this is the ratio of the Bitcoin price to the Ethereum price, or Ethereum price to Bitcoin price. So basically this says like how much Bitcoin does it cost to buy one Ether. So when you look at a price for ETH in US dollar terms, it's always saying like how many US dollars does it take to buy one ETH. So in this case, it's like, $3,100. So same thing for ETH to BTC ratio. It's how much Bitcoin does it take to buy one ETH. And so currently that ratio is 0.05. So we watch this metric from time to time on the channel because some people like to watch this for a flippening. So basically like ETH flipping Bitcoin and become the #1 market cap cryptocurrency. That possibility is increasing in likelihood in my head. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it seems more and more possible with, as this bull market develops. I'm not saying it would even happen this year or even in this market cycle, assuming we're in a market cycle. But it seems more and more possible in my opinion. So we can look at Ratio Gang. This is a website that tracks the ETH to BTC ratio, and you can see at a flippening, it would be at 0.16, and we're at 0.05 right now. So still got a ways to go if we're just going to do that. But the fact that the Bitcoin price is not really doing a lot and is slightly bearish, it's kind of like boring bearish, and ETH is so bullish right now. It's closing that gap. So we could of course see a move from the King Bitcoin for now. That would change things, but that's what's happening. That's the current trajectory and momentum. So one thing that's cool about the ETH price is if you actually look at historical terms, is how cheap ETH was when it came onto the scene. Okay. So I saw this tweet come out. I didn't fact check the actual prices or when this price point was, if it was the ETH pre-sale, if it was like the first, I don't know, like exchange listing or something, but ETH started at about 30 cents and is now at $3,000. So that's absolutely insane. That's absolutely insane. Another thing that I saw here was about Vitalik himself, so the mastermind behind Ethereum. Of course, yeah, there were several other co-founders in on the original venture, but Vitalik is definitely the mastermind behind the project. So this is a cool stat that Ethereum co-founder Vitalik Buterin becomes billionaire as he hits 3K. It's awesome. So Vitalik may have already been a billionaire before this. I don't know. But I think they're doing this based on his crypto portfolio or what we know he holds. But that's awesome. So let's talk about what's going on in the ETH space this week. So I talk about, how Ethereum's like catching up to its fundamentals in a lot of way, where there's so much happening on Ethereum network. This year, the layer 2 scaling solutions with proof of stake going live, with EIP 1559 happening. So let's talk about something that's actually going to happen this week, which we have been talking about on this channel for a long time, which I'm pretty sure. So let me just fact check myself before I announce this. Hold on a second. Yes. So last we checked, tentative launch date for Uniswap v3 was on May 5th. I believe that's still slated to happen. Okay, so Uniswap v3. I'm going to go just do a little extra, due diligence and make sure that this is still on track for launch this week before I, keep hyping this up in the videos. But I want to hype it up because it's a good thing. It's an awesome thing. It's an incredibly bullish thing for the Ethereum space, because Uniswap version 3 is going to be a new improved version of the most used Dapp on top of Ethereum right now. And they are launching a layer 2 scaling solutions shortly after they go live. Okay, so not going to be part of the initial launch. And I believe it's going to be a whitelisted launch for Optimism. But it's a huge, huge thing, because we're talking about layer 2 scaling is really going to help out Ethereum's problem where it's too slow, it's too expensive for most people to use. This is where we build a second layer on top of the Ethereum network that drives the security from the base Ethereum network that lets you do more transactions in a smaller window of time. And also it's cheaper. All right. So, we've seen people move towards Binance Smart Chain, Polygon, things like that, where you can do things for cheaper. But these aren't layer 2 scaling solutions. They don't funnel back into the Ethereum network in the same way that a layer 2 would. And so this is really big, really bullish. And layer 2 scaling solutions will be the predominant scaling paradigm for the Ethereum blockchain as we move into Ethereum 2.0. Like once Ethereum 2.0 gets here, we'll still have layer 2. So Uniswap v3 is super bullish. It's got a lot of awesome, amazing features inside of it as well. But layer 2, in my opinion, is the biggest step forward. And that won't necessarily be live this week, but the base app for Uniswap v3, last time I checked, is still slated for this week on May 5th. So another thing to think about for the ETH price is the current market cap of ETH is about where Bitcoin was at the end of 2017. So that's something that will kind of give you perspective for where we are. All right. So if you look at ETH, the current market cap is $364 billion. Okay. So, we're about a third of $1 trillion. And if you go look back at the Bitcoin price, okay, you go zoom out, let's say like 5 years, and go back to 2018 right here, when Bitcoin's about $19,000, $20,000, it was about $300 billion. So ETH is now where Bitcoin was at the height of the last bull cycle. Okay, so that gives you perspective on where we are. We have a lot more people in the space than we did in 2017 in total. We also have, institutions, which is one of the ways that this market can move the way that it does. Because don't forget, institutions can buy cryptocurrency in size in ways that retail investors can't. Like people like you and I who are just getting on the computer, getting our laptop, going to Google and saying, how do I buy Bitcoin? That's kind of like the characteristic of brand new retail investors, right? I mean, institutions might Google like, what is Bitcoin, right? But they're buying in much larger size. So Tesla bought $1.5 billion of Bitcoin earlier this year. See lots of other people do the same types of thing. MicroStrategy, other big companies, publicly traded companies who hold it on their balance sheet. You only need a handful of those to really move the needle in the same way that you need retail investors too. So that's one way that we're able to see these really high price levels faster, than we did in 2017, and we're seeing that as evidence with ETH being at the same market cap level as Bitcoin was in 2017. So let's see here. Somebody says, do you think we could follow ETC just like Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin? No comment. I don't know. It's so hard to predict the moves with everything. I mean, it's really one really quick way to get wrecked in these markets is to try to like change lanes too fast and always find where the next thing is, because you have to be right more than you're wrong, and your win rate has to basically outperform the market. Which there are people to do it. Plenty of people who do it. There's super smart traders out there who get wildly rich. But here's the downside risk to a lot of that. I mean, I always talk about how, trading, active trading is probably not the best move for a lot of people because like trading is like a full-time job that you can lose money at, right? But here's the other thing is the opportunity cost of this bull run. If you just had this nice, sort of stack that you could just hold and have not guaranteed, but way more guaranteed than if you traded returns, and if these are truly like historical life-changing returns, and then instead you decided to go try to get ahead of what was already really good, and then you just lost your money and you just got off that train that was blasting off to infinity, then it's a major opportunity cost. And that's another reason why I think a lot of people just shouldn't trade this bull market. I mean, I know that's kind of financial advice, but I don't really like to give financial advice, but I always am okay with telling people be cautious. Somebody says, as much as I love Uni, 1inch is all that I use. But 1inch is the DEX aggregator, so you might even be using Uniswap. Somebody says, when ETH 10K? I don't know. But I do think that we are at a matter of when ETH 10K, not if ETH 10K, especially with what's happening right now. And I think that's become more apparent over time. Like if we were making these videos like last year in the summer, I don't think I'd be quite as bullish on that stance. But as these things kind of play out over time, you start to see confidence arise in the market and sentiment. Your personal confidence level changes, and I think recent events and developments and current sentiment help with that. So somebody's talking about me looking at my active trades. So I have YouTube chat over here, camera here, live screen here. So it's like I'm a constant juggling game. Somebody says give another dip before continuing upward trend. So I don't know, to tell you the truth. Yeah, boring bearish. That's what I was talking about Bitcoin. Yeah, totally. So I'm gonna see if there's another question in the chat. Oh, somebody wants to see the Nupal chart. So let's take a look. So let's look at some on-chain metrics, kind of see where we are with the overall market health. So again, I like to look at these things because, you know, I'm not a big trader. I'm not a big TA guy. I don't like always try to find like every single price move in the market. I try to look at the big picture and see, hey, you know, what's, you know, should we take money off the table? Should we put more money in? And part of the overall market health helps me decide that type of thing. So let's take a look at some on-chain metrics. So I like to look at these for other reasons. Like I said, not a big TA, but I am a blockchain developer, so I understand the chain and how it works and how valuable it is to get insight. All right, let's see here. I think I had a little problem with the stream. Check. All right, we're back. Sorry, everybody. So you can look at things like what percentage of the network is in profit, and that's what we're gonna look at right now. So sorry, I had a little hiccup with my stream here. Let's jump back into it. Okay. So our current Nupal metrics, and this is net unrealized profit loss, okay, is a 0.66. So let's zoom in here. Take a look at it. So the big picture here is you want to stay away from this line, the blue territory. Every time I've hit blue in the past, it's been an indicator of a long-term downtrend. So right now we're a Nupal of we're at 0.65, okay, at $56,000. The last time we were at 0.65, we're at 55, and then even historically before that, $34,000. So the cool thing about this is as our Nupal metric starts to reset, we have more headroom to rise, okay, which basically means we have a higher ceiling for this line right here in terms of the Bitcoin price before we kind of cross that euphoric territory and become in danger of a highly euphoric market that could quickly downturn as fast as it was moving upward. Okay, so basically big picture longer before we become toppish. Which I don't know if anybody has any insights in the chat about, you know, how the Nupal metric works at this price level. If you know, I know a lot of it depends on speed. But if we were to say, you know, run some scenarios like could Bitcoin double in price over 30 days? Would we be in euphoric territory? These are the type of things that'd be interesting to see and kind of model out and project to determine where it's headed next. Someone says, do I think, let's see here. Someone says Bitcoin will be 1 million by then. It might be. Somebody says, when will Heath hit 69K? Somebody says, not a big TA guy. So part of it's, not that I don't believe in TA, I just don't personally have the skills to do valuable TA. I mean, I can do some amateur TA on the board here. I can draw some lines and charts and give you, you know, some insights, but there are people who are a lot better than me who can do advanced TA. I would just listen to them. I'm not saying I could learn it and get good at it, but right now it's not my top priority. Do I use any other content platforms other than YouTube? So I'm on Twitter, pretty active. Somebody says, will Ether flip Bitcoin? So I do think it's possible. I don't say it with high degree of confidence that it's going to happen, you know, for sure, but I do think it's very possible. Somebody says, what thoughts on Binance Smart Chain as opposed to Ethereum network? What are the benefits and negatives comparatively? So I talk about a lot about that in this channel. So Binance Smart Chain is a fork of Ethereum. It basically takes the Ethereum protocol, changes some settings to make it faster. But that does come with quite a bit of compromises, especially with decentralization. Um, uh, so basically, yeah, that's what it does. One problem that Binance Smart Chain is likely going to have in the future is the state size. So it's achieves scalability by letting more transactions in to each block, which will in turn make the state or the size of the blockchain itself get bigger and bigger and bigger. And you're going to eventually run into limitations about what actual like computer hardware can handle. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. I'm not like forecasting this as a death nail or anything like that for Binance Smart Chain, but it is actually a known issue. And so we'll see how that gets handled down the road. Someone says, I feel like the gas fees ruin Ethereum. So check the earlier part of the video when I was talking about layer 2 scaling solutions for Ethereum really helping this problem. And this is one of the reasons I talk about this over and over and over again, because this is one of the most misunderstood things about the Ethereum network. If you watch these videos regularly, you might be like, oh, stop talking about layer 2. Like I say it over and over and over again. But this is why, because every single stream somebody comes on and says, yeah, but the gas fees are a problem. And so it's like, well, I got to keep saying it. So this is also not any like no disrespect for people who don't understand this. It's a very logical concern. You know what I mean? Now, whether you arrived at that concern based on using the Ethereum network yourself, or you saw it online, someone talking about how the gas fees were a death knell for Ethereum, that's a different story. But even if you did see that, it's pretty easy to believe if you don't understand the actual truth behind it and where it's headed. So I wouldn't fault you for that either, but it's important to understand what's true. So let's see here. Somebody says TA is nonsense for altcoins given it's highly driven by Bitcoin movement fundamentals like gas fees, taxation, speed, or reality. Yeah, I think a lot of TA is not great, but there's still some valuable good TA out there. You just can't use TA in isolation. There's lots of factors that determine where the markets are headed. And that's also not to say that everybody can predict with any degree of accuracy where the markets are headed, but you kind of have to try. And I think about it in very general terms. I don't like to be too specific, because being specific is where you can easily get in trouble. So let's see here. What's a bull market and what's a bear market? So that's a good question. So bull market is a long-term period where prices increase, and a bear market is a long-term period where prices decrease in net terms. All right, everybody. I'm gonna do a shorter stream today. I got to jump off, but I wanted to jump on here and tell you about where this space is headed. Get excited about the Ethereum price because it's a big deal over the weekend. As always, smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. That really helps these videos out, so the more people can learn about blockchain. You're as fascinated with this technology as I am. How can you get your hand dirty today? You go to my YouTube homepage, find any of my free courses there. They're like Udemy courses, but they're totally free. If you like those, you want to take the next step, or hey, maybe you'll take a master shortcut entirely. I can show you how to become a blockchain master step by step, start to finish, over at dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. You don't have to be an expert to get started today. I've helped people with zero coding experience become real world blockchain developers in a matter of months. So that's all I've got. Until next time, thanks for watching Dapp.